One summer morning as a teenager, I stumbled out of bed and went and looked in the mirror with horror to see that I was covered in dandruff. Okay, now I had seen all the commercials like Head and Shoulders and the shaky business, and this was like a kid's worst nightmare. Now that day I was slated to ride my bike to meet up with some friends at the movie theater, but I knew I could not go with my head in that current state. So I grabbed my babysitting money and rode my bike to the nearest grocery store. Now I looked at all of the dandruff shampoos. I compared the features and benefits of each one. I looked at the prices. There were some that were $7 or $8. There were some that were $3. I assumed the more expensive ones were going to be better because they looked like higher quality bottles or something. But I stood there and I fretted for a long time, and I had to hurry because I still had to go home and wash all of this out of my hair before I could go meet my friends. So I selected a $7 or $8 bottle, which, by the way, equated to like 4 hours of babysitting other people's kids, okay? And so I bought the shampoo, I pedaled home, I washed, it didn't all come out. I washed again, it did not all come out, and I am mortified. And so at this point, I'm trying to think of hairdos that will make sure it doesn't work, and then I opted for a hat and went off to meet my friends. Now, hats are not really great when you're going to the movie theater, but we'll just save that story for another day. Anyway, it was fine. I was a little bit embarrassed, but I covered it up, and my friends weren't the wiser and didn't really know why I was wearing a hat, and I, for some reason, made it look just fine. But at the end of the day, my mom came home from work and she said, "How was your day?" And I was like, "Oh, Mom, I have the worst dandruff ever." And I pulled my hat off and I told her about driving to the grocery store to find the best dandruff shampoo. And she started to laugh at me. And it's so sad that she would laugh at me about my dandruff. And she said, "Honey, it is not dandruff. Remember how you had a sunburn yesterday? That is just your sunburn flaking off." Now, I learned in that instant that I don't know everything, which at the time I really thought that I did. But I also learned that sometimes we pick the wrong tools for the wrong projects because we don't have all the information. Sometimes we jump to conclusions. And if you're looking for high performance and peak performance in your life, a make it happen principle you cannot live without is to make sure that you have enough information before you move forward. We talk about plasticity in the book, the ability to be moldable and the ability to learn, but this goes one step further. Do you make rash decisions or judgment? Do you move forward without having all the pieces of information? Now, I know that for some of us that can be paralyzing and that we actually do need every single bit of information before we can move forward, and it actually harms us. But there are others of us who fly by the seat of our pants, and myself included at times, where I'll move forward without having all the information, and I end up spending more time, I end up wasting money, and I end up struggling because I'm using the wrong tool for the wrong job. So while later you can laugh at me and my teenage dandruff experience, I hope that you'll remember the opportunities that you have to make sure that you know the information before you jump in. This is especially important in our relationships. Sometimes someone will share with us a challenge or problem, and we're so quick to fix it that we forget to listen and to learn and to really understand them and their side. Sometimes they don't want a solution. Sometimes they just want to be heard. So think about the circumstances where you might be jumping just a little bit ahead. And think about how you can give yourself and maybe others around you a little bit more time to make sure you're putting the right solution on the right problem. We talk a lot about putting pots under leaks instead of fixing the pipes. And this is a really quick, simple success principle that can help you take your life and your business to the next level by making sure you're giving it time to know what's right before you move forward and make it happen.